Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Milo Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 9, Episode 12. So yeah, we are here with another episode that I am pre-recording, just because, as you know, this weekend, when you're seeing this, actually, I am moving. Specifically on the day you're seeing this, on Saturday. I am moving, and so just to get this up on time, basically, I'm pre-recording it back on Monday. I'm also turning up the brightness because it's starting to get dark in here, so just to be on the safe side. So yeah, we are here with another episode, and so far the season's been great. The last episode was pretty damn good, with Starlight and Trixie taking center stage, with also having Maud and all the others as well. It had a couple things that I was a little on, but it got better after a couple more rewatches, and those kind of things just don't really bother me much anymore. It was definitely a really fun, good, enjoyable episode. And had some just amazing humor with Maud. But now we go on to this next one, and I know nothing about it. That's why, especially, I'm reacting to it now, because it was released early in Italy, and before I have any more chances of seeing anything about it, I'm just getting to it now. So I know nothing about this next episode, but I'm just hoping that it continues the trend that this season has put forth of just really, really high quality. So let's hope it's just one of the better ones of this season and get going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. You know, with all that we had this season, I couldn't have expected that, as of so far, my favorite episode of this final season of the show would be a CMC one. Like, I love the CMC, and they've had some great episodes. But I never really thought that my favorite of the final season, again, so far, would be a CMC episode. Granted, I was beginning to question whether or not we'd even get this episode. Because, to be honest, it's the final season. And it's at this point where this is definitely something that I wished would have been talked about and showed sooner. But with the circumstances behind Skulu's parents, it makes sense why it wasn't. It makes sense why they'd been gone for so long and why we'd never seen them, why we'd never really gotten into this. But I kind of at least wish they had talked about Skulu's living situation a little more sooner. This episode is practically perfect. Maybe it's just the initial hype, but I can't see any issue with it. It checks off multiple things on my season 9 wish list. And it just, it was the first episode of this season, probably not the last, but the first for sure, that made me lose it and made me really cry. Something the show's definitely done before, but this is probably my new favorite CMC episode, beating out Crusaders of the Lost Mark. Not necessarily the best. I think Crusaders of the Lost Mark is still probably the best. And the title definitely, it didn't live up to the title exactly, but it's probably the last big CMC episode, which is also kind of disappointing, but I'll get into that later. So, yeah, an episode finally revealing Scootaloo's parents and living situation and all of that jazz. So Scootaloo kind of lives on her own technically. Um, on occasion, her aunts will come to stay with her to watch over her and all, but normally other townsfolk do so. The Cakes, Rainbow Dash, yada yada. Uh, Others will just kind of take turns watching her, which is kind of a sad life to live. And it makes sense why this was such a struggle for her to decide between moving to live with her parents or staying with her friends who mean so much to her. And in the end, she chose her friends. She chose her friends because even though she loves her parents, and it sounds kind of mean to say it this way, but she knows at this point probably her friends a little more. And she's just become so connected to them that leaving them would cause more distress for her than not living with her parents. And as it's shown in the episode, as the CMC, they are important. No one else can do their job. Now the meat of the episode itself was very kind of basic. Like the CMC are trying to convince Scootaloo's parents to let her stay, trying to do all these different tactics to do so. And it's kind of reminiscent in a way, almost, of the old CMC episodes before they got their cutie marks and all, which I can appreciate for sure. Um, and Scootaloo's parents are definitely really, really great characters. They're everything I could have really hoped for. I love how they're basically like Steve Irwin and his wife. Um, Even to the point of their introduction in the episode, her father came in and wrestled a crocodile. Like, come on, it's super obvious. He has an Australian accent. It's super obvious that it's a reference to Steve Irwin, and his mother kind of looks like Steve Irwin's wife. I cannot remember her name. I know their daughter's name, but I can't remember hers. But she kind of looks like her. Um, so it's definitely a reference, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with. I have no issue with that. Um, I like that their jobs do explain why they've been gone and why we haven't seen them. Um, it's kind of like the entire thing with Fluttershy's brother, Zephyr, because the reason we hadn't heard about him before he was eventually introduced in the series was because of his strained relation, well, his and Fluttershy's strained relationship. Um, and why the entire Cadence Shining Armor thing, how they were never mentioned prior to their introduction, was a little troubling considering um, how much of a good relationship Twilight has with Shining. So yeah. But yeah, they're great characters. They're really likable. Never really had an issue with them. And then Auntie Lofty and Aunt Holiday. You know why I love that so much. I don't even need to say it. Because even though it didn't like explicitly show them kiss or anything, it didn't show them like really explicitly be a couple. It's anyone who knows um the chapter books knows about this. Who had I mean a lot of the fandom has heard about who they are after they were revealed in the books. And even though, again, it wasn't explicitly shown, it still counts as representation. They are confirmed, and they were confirmed before their appearance. And they acted like a couple. They lived together and everything. And even though, again, it didn't explicitly say it, um, Aunt Holiday said to Lofty, don't, something like about my brother, like specifically referencing how Skulu's father is her brother, um, meaning that Lofty isn't related in any way. So, yeah, kind of says it without saying it. I think the reason they wouldn't go like explicitly into saying it is probably because they wanted to still get away with it, because there would be a lot of backlash, unfortunately, still. But it was made obvious the way they even acted around each other and all, especially in the final scene. Yeah. Getting to see all of these characters who the CMC has helped, even characters I don't like Gabby, it's still a legacy for them. Troubleshoes was there. Diamond TR and Silver Spoon, and Diamond waved at them and they waved back. That was nice. At least there was something. I would love to hear them speak again and have an actual role in an episode, but at least it was something. At least they were acknowledged. Babs was there, which was fantastic, by the way. I wish she would have another moment too, but honestly, Diamond TR and Silver Spoon are more important for that, for me. Though at this point, if this is the last CMC focused episode, I'm honestly kind of doubting it's going to happen. Which sucks really badly. Unless they have like speaking roles or something in another character's episode, which is possible. But yeah, it's just, it was paced well, it was written well. Everything felt like it worked, like nothing felt out of place, nothing felt like it was just randomly thrown in for the sake of being randomly thrown in. It was perfect. It's easily my favorite of the season, and one of my favorite of the entire series. And not just because of Aunt Holiday, Auntie Lofty, not just because of that, though I will admit that is a factor, but there's a lot in this episode that I loved. And this is definitely going to, I can already tell, going to be one of the most rewatchable episodes for me of this season. Like, you kidding? I'm going to rewatch the hell out of this on my own and with other people's reactions when they start to come out. I think the last time I cried that hard in an MLP episode was when Applejack's parents came. When we finally met Bright Mac and Pear Butter. And for the same reasons. In The Perfect Pair, I said when I reacted to that, we've wanted this for so long. This is something that's been a long time coming, and it's amazing, and it's perfect. And it's the same thing here. We've wanted this for so long. We've wanted this resolution. And it's perfect. It's beautiful. It doesn't need to have anything else said about it. I mean, granted, if something else is brought up about it, fine, cool. But it did what it needed to do. And it gave us just one of the best showings of this series. And one of the best payoffs. I've talked before in multiple videos about setups and payoffs, and how big of a deal that it is if a payoff doesn't live up to the setup. this far surpassed anything I could have expected for the setup for this. All of these years, 9 years of build-up. And of course, not like a lot of specific referencing to this all. The closest we've gotten before this is seeing Scootaloo's home and not seeing anyone with her at the time, or any parents or any sign of anything like that. But all of this time, she being the only CMC member who we don't know the living situation of, who we haven't seen the parents of, or any family outside of, Rainbow being her honorary big sister. 9 years of waiting. And you can say they shouldn't have waited for the final season. And maybe so. But honestly, I think it's more effective that they did. I think by having it be in the final season, by having the story be what it is, by having them wait specifically until after the CMC got their cutie marks to make this kind of story possible, I think that's important. I think what they did here was important because it made the message that much stronger. It made the concept of the episode, the struggle Scootaloo had to go through, that much stronger. It was more effective because of the wait. I'm sorry. I'm just like I'm still in awe. I'm in shock. I'm like Keanu Reeves at E3. It's breathtaking. It's breathtaking. It's easily my favorite episode so far this season. And I would possibly say my third favorite episode of the series. Only after Amending Fences and The Perfect Pair. To say this is everything I could have hoped it would be an understatement because it surpassed all of my hopes. It surpassed my wishes. Who Scootaloo's parents are, what they do, their personality and characters, surpassed everything I could have wanted them to be. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Even 9 seasons in, this show continues to impress me. It continues to leave me breathless at what it can do. It may not be my favorite series of all time, but it's in my top 10 for a reason. Out of all the shows I've seen in my life, it's one of the best of the best. And every low point we have, every weak episode we have, leads to something like this in the end. We have those gems that will just live with us forever. It's episodes like this, it's moments like this that really define what being a brony to me is. Really define why I love this show. Because of how much emotion and love and just feeling this can squeeze out of me in a way that few other shows really can. I've been watching this show since 2014. Or 2013. I'm flustered right now, I'm sorry. 2014 was my first convention in the fandom, my first brony convention. I started watching in October of 2013. October 18th, 2013, I started watching this show. And when I did, I had no idea where it was going to go at the time. Because at the time, it was like only 3 seasons in. I had no idea what they were going to do with it. When I first started the series, even after watching the premiere and enjoying it more than I ever thought I could enjoy a My Little Pony show, I never imagined that I'd be here 5 years later, 6 years later, sorry. Well, not quite 6, like 5.5, something like that. A little over 5.5 years later. I never expected I would be here then, crying my eyes out over this show. Left speechless and breathless, just completely in awe of a show that, when originally created, was marketed towards little girls. A show that even now Hasbro still mostly markets towards little girls. Even despite 9 years now of people proving otherwise, that it can be for anyone. No matter your age or gender or anything, really. What you do, what other kind of shows you're into, it doesn't matter. Because this show can appeal to anyone and everyone. Because it takes its audience seriously. And when the fans speak out and say they want something, this show does deliver. Not on everything, but where it counts, it delivers. When it delivered on Applejack's parents, it counted. It mattered. It made a difference in this community. And it just did so again. This is the show that got me into so many others. This is the show that saved my life from suicide and depression. Without this show, I wouldn't be doing these reactions. So thank all of you. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, thank you for continuing to watch my reactions to this. For those of you who might be new or who might be checking this out because you were looking up reactions and might have seen mine, thank you for checking me out, checking out the reaction. I hope you enjoyed. I hope all of you enjoyed. And for now, tell me in the comments below what you thought of The Last Crusade. And thank you so much for continuing to support the channel and for tuning in to yet another amazing MLP reaction. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,